Hello and welcome to the ADHD with Jenna podcast. Today we are talking about ADHD, dysregulation, and overconsumption. If you feel like you are uncontrollably consuming food, social media, content, entertainment, goods, purchasing things, this is the episode for you. We're going to be talking about why that's happening and what we can do to work on it. So overconsumption, key here is overconsumption, can be a consequence of the fight or flight response, particularly when the body is in a state of chronic stress or when the response is triggered frequently, which if you have ADHD, I can almost guarantee you're in chronic fight or flight, meaning that's just the state you're living in at this point. Doesn't really matter what's happening externally. That's where we're at. The fight or flight response, while designed for survival, and you are safe, that's my assumption, so our body isn't using it in an effective way. This can lead to increased appetite and craving for high-calorie foods due to the release of cortisol. So, talking about overconsumption of food, which is the most typical one I hear about, this, of course, can result in eating a way that's not healthy, and our relationship with food isn't healthy, but this isn't just with food. We can overconsume goods, spending, right? Consumption. We are a culture of consumption. Go to Costco and you'll see. But am I overdoing it? Am I buying things I don't really need? Am I buying things just to buy things? Am I never feeling like it's enough? The scarcity mentality really can come up when we're in fight or flight. So that can be a reason why we're over-consuming. Also, consumption of content, passive entertainment like scrolling, TV, internet, gaming. This where I'm not contributing to this, I am a vessel that is consuming all the things around me, the food, the things, the content. This is because when we're in fight or flight, our system prioritizes the now over the later. Even if this means the thing I'm doing now is hurting me later or isn't serving me in the long run. I'm sure you felt that if you have kind of a tricky relationship with food, if you scroll way more than you would like, or if you're spending money you don't want to be spending, buying things you don't need. That always hurts in the long run, right? Once you get that bill, once you realize how much time you've wasted just sitting there consuming, once you have a stomachache and have eaten too much. We know it's hurting us in the long run, but when your system is in survival mode, that doesn't matter to it. The now is always going to be more important. Because consuming is soothing. It distracts from the discomfort of dysregulation, whether that be anxiety, overwhelm, physical symptoms of dysregulation. It's also the quickest form of dopamine with little effort required. So when we're in fight or flight, our systems want to preserve all the energy it can to survive, even though you're not in danger. This is why it's such an issue. So we look for the least friction possible. Your brain is looking for the quickest hits of dopamine, which is soothing dysregulation. Yes, we have the whole separate dopamine conversation in and of itself. But when you're in fight or flight, the type of dopamine you're going to seek is very quick hit, even though I crash later. Food's going to do that. Spending money you don't want to be spending is going to do that. Scrolling compulsively is going to do that. You're going to have that crash after, feeling worse than when you started. Again, not connecting to the long run. Only knowing, hey, I just know right now that's going to feel good. Right now that's going to keep me alive and comfortable and, surviving through the day. We still need dopamine and you're still going to seek it. But when we're regulated, we can seek that dopamine that's healthier only because it feels better in the long run. So working on things and then achieving them, right? That gives us dopamine, but that's a slower burn. That requires effort up front. When we're dysregulated, we have no energy to put that effort up front. People do say that ADHDers have a short time horizon, but I disagree. People in survival mode have a short time horizon. And what that means is I have a very hard time connecting with my future self or the future at all. So even though I have a vague logical idea that I want to achieve something, it's hard for me to connect with that result even next week when I have to put the effort in today, right? As I'm unable to make that connection or be motivated enough to put the effort in now to get the reward later because of that short time horizon. And this really makes a lot of sense biologically. If I don't survive today, Who cares about next week? It does not matter until I'm safe. When your system knows it's safe, when your system thinks, oh, we're not about to die all the time, which when you're in fight or flight, when you're dysregulated, that's what your internal world is experiencing. You might not think that, and it might sound dramatic, but that's where your system is at. When we calm that down and your body goes, oh, no, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to get through today. I'm fine. The time horizon will increase. You will naturally be connected to the things further in the future. You will naturally be able to kind of put off that benefit till later because you understand, oh yeah, I'm going to feel really good about that later. You can connect with it. And that makes sense. And here's a really interesting example. I was reading a book a few months ago, and I don't even remember what it was about, but these people were stranded on an island and they had a water supply, but it wouldn't last forever. They were stranded. They didn't know when they're going to survive. They had water because they were planning on being there for a while, but then the people who brought them there got in a boat accident or something. I don't know. So there was nobody that knew they were on this island. So the group was trying to ration the water to last as long as possible. So at first, they were thinking long term, right? Okay, how many days can we get out of this water to give us the best chance of rescue? But at some point, if they didn't drink enough water now, they would die. And then what would be the point of that saved water, right? Then you look pretty stupid if you died of dehydration and there was water there. So you have to prioritize the present to survive, even if it means running out of water later. That's just your biology being very smart, right? So for that instance, we can see how that's helpful. Worrying more about myself now does need to come, because if I don't make it, my later self won't even exist. So that's what's happening with us, except we're not on a stranded island running out of water. You're like working and overwhelmed by your email list. And I'm not saying that to be flippant. I'm saying that's why it's so debilitating. Those traits, those things that happen to the way our system functions is useful when you're in imminent life-threatening danger. When you are safe, it's going to really affect things in a negative way. Like, now I'm scrolling when I don't need to be and don't want to be. I'm spending money I don't need to be spending. And I'm eating food I don't need to be eating. All because my system is now connected with the reality that I'm okay, I'm safe. So this is why this work is so important. So, consumption, watching TV, eating, browsing social media, even purchasing things can be enjoyable. It can be a part of life. But the overconsumption can lead to negative effects like anxiety, depression, and feelings of inadequacy. So this is something we want to notice. This is like a canary in the coal mine for dysregulation. Am I over-consuming? If you're doing it out of a conscious choice, you're a grown-up. I work with adults for this reason. You get to do whatever you want. So if you're like, no, I love shopping, I love scrolling, I love my food, I love great meals, and I love eating, great. If you're happy and you're choosing to do those things, you get to do whatever you want, and I'm happy for you. If you're thinking, wow, I feel really shitty about myself, I don't like the way I spend my time, I don't like how I feel, I don't like that I do these things, I just don't seem to be able to not to, that's how we know dysregulation is present. So if it is not a conscious choice, that means dysregulation is at the wheel. It's running the show. It's determining your behavior. And of course, that's going to affect a lot of things, like your ability to be productive, like your self-confidence, self-trust, all of that. So the definition of regulation is to control or maintain the rate or speed of a machine or process so that it operates properly. So it's all about finding the balance, right? It's not about rushing, and it's not about being stuck. It's not about consuming everything or consuming nothing. It's a balance. So how do we balance consumption with creation? Consumption and creation exist on a spectrum with the balance between them significantly impacting well-being. It's going to impact how you feel about yourself. It's going to impact your mental health. So creation, like writing, painting, building, thinking creatively, it doesn't have to be literal creation, but like adding something to the world, producing something, can foster happiness, a sense of purpose, and improved self-esteem. It's also what's going to happen when you're more regulated, but also participating in these things more is going to regulate you more. So as you move through the week ahead, I'd be very interested in what you observe about your consumption habits through this specific lens of dysregulation, right? You might know you overconsume, but as you move forward, think, oh, what's that about? Why am I buying this thing? I know I don't need it. What is this feeling I get when I purchase? What is the discomfort that's here that's pushing me to consume in this way? It's a little bit more self-exploration. And a key here is a mindset of curiosity. It's interesting that I want XYZ, that I want to eat right when a project is overwhelming me at work. Right? It's like the discomfort of overwhelm, that discomfort of dysregulation. And so I'm going to the things that soothe that in the quickest way possible. So for you, that might be food. For you, that might be scrolling. And for a lot of us, the phone is a big problem. For you, it might be spending money and shopping around and buying stuff. These are the things we want to start looking at through a lens of like, isn't that interesting? Look what my brain is thinking right now. There's no room for shame or guilt here. If we feel shame about this, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm over consuming. It's just more dysregulation is going to get you further in the hole that you're in. We want to explore, we want to observe, we want to dig, we want to see what's going on underneath the hood of our brains and our nervous systems. And that really is going to require like the mindset of a scientist, like, look at that cause and effect. Isn't that interesting how when I feel this, I go to do this? Right? That allows us to have more information, to have more awareness, and then we can actually do something about it. That's what's so important, is the awareness allows us to make change. We've got to get honest with it first and be really aware through the lens of regulation or dysregulation. Even people, when we work in my groups, I say, okay, we're going to put our like dysregulation goggles on. Like, I want you to see everything through the understanding that you're dysregulated, and that's going to determine pretty much everything you do. If the core of you feels like it just needs to be in defense mode and it's in danger and it needs to survive, that's going to affect everything you do. So we need to be aware of that core issue and then be aware of how the ripple effect of that, so that we can then start making changes. So I also want you to take note of how much creation is happening in your daily life. This could be as simple as making yourself a meal, right? That's creating something. Thinking creatively about a work project. It can include traditional creativity like art, building. For me, I'll just share how that creation shows up in my life is with my work, right? I wrote this podcast episode. I'm recording this. I'm creating something. I'm putting stuff out there. I create social media content. Social media might sound like a silly thing, but my gosh, does creating stuff for social media feel so much better than consuming it? So it's this creation. I also am a big fan of like house projects, furniture projects, stuff like that. These chairs behind me, if you're watching the video, I've reupholstered these. I've done 3 of the 6, working away at it. I have a couple other little projects in the corner here, some picture frames and stuff I want to update. That is so satisfying, right? That feels really good. It gives you dopamine. It's like, wow, I achieved something, but in a sustainable, more of a building long-term way. Builds self-esteem, it builds satisfaction, it provides fulfillment, versus consumption gives you that quick hit of relief, but then you feel worse after. So that's the big difference here. And dare I say, thrifting could be seen as consumption. I'm a big thrifter. Everything I wear is pretty much from Goodwill and Value Village. It's just a passion of mine. I just love it. But I think I love it because it feels more creative. It feels more like I'm curating something. I'm going through the racks and I'm finding the interesting stuff. I'm not going to, the mall and feeling that way because everything's laid out for you. There's more of a consumption than a creative, explorative endeavor. Maybe someone else would say, girl, that's just consumption. But it feels really different for me. And that's what we're really going for. What is the feeling of the things you're participating in? Is it a quick hit and then a drop? Or is it a build? Is it building your confidence? Is it building your fulfillment? Is it building those positive feelings? So if there's no creation in your days, what are some small ways you can work towards that? Some small shifts you can make. Of course, the more regulated you get, hopefully you've grabbed my free ADHD regulation guide. So you're working on that. But even this will regulate you, right? It being a little bit more intentional about a little less consumption, a little more creation. All of this stuff always starts small. So if it's like, wow, 10 minutes that I would have normally been scrolling, I went and dug around in the garden. That would be creation. Right? I'm doing something, contributing, creating something that was not there before. Get wild with what that means to you. You can be very creative when you're thinking about it. Is there a hobby that you've been thinking about that you could play with even while watching TV? At least you're also creating something. Do you consume a lot of social media content? Have you ever considered creating any before? Maybe there's a topic you'd be interested in sharing about, but I know when we're dysregulated, it's like, well, I have to know how to do that and do it perfectly. But even if you don't post it yet, that would be an interesting alternative to always just laying there and consuming other people's creations. Could you create? So finding balance between consuming and creating will help regulate you. And the more regulated you get, the more balance you will naturally find there. You may even find you are drawn to things that take a little bit of effort, but give you that feeling of satisfaction, of growth, of self-worth, of fulfillment. I really find that that's a big difference in kind of those deeper feelings we're looking for is, am I creating or just consuming? And of course, we're going to still consume. I still watch TV. I still scroll sometimes. Really working on doing that less. I don't find it ever helpful for me. But I go on Pinterest. I look at stuff. That's fine. We just want to look at the imbalance that can occur. So I'd love to hear what you notice about your consumption habits and your creativity habits. What is going on? Do you feel there's any balance? And if not, what is one tiny way you could tip the scales a little bit? Feel free to DM me on TikTok or Instagram. I'd love to talk about it. I'm on there at ADHD with Jenna Free. And please rate and share the podcast. This is how the message of regulation for ADHD gets out there. We've had a little boost in the podcast recently, and that's been really, really exciting. And if you're on Reddit, of course, feel free to share in your favorite ADHD subreddit. It's a great way for people to find the show. And I've had a lot of messages from Redditors lately being like, oh my gosh, I found you. And it's been so helpful. So much appreciated. Looking forward to hearing what you think about this topic, and we'll see you next week.